So let me wrap it around a few times here just to keep it steady. And then we put this around 5 times tightly. 1. We're twisted already. Of course, because why not?
So this is 26 gauge wire. You're gonna wrap it around the nails, nice and tight.
2, 3, 4, 5.
5 times, and then
Then we go around another time. This will be what we wrap around to hold it.
1 whole revolution.
And then we separate in here. And just wrap around until you get to the other nail.
Just to gather and secure the strands a little better. That's fine, let it go.
6 or 7 times, and then I pop it off. Slide this side out, which was wrapped around. And just keep going until you reach the end.
And maybe bring it up a little closer just for a second, just so we can see. I think that's cool. And it's just enough to secure the 5 strands. You don't have to be crazy making it super tight, close together, because you just want it to, if it doesn't go all the way to the end, that's fine.
And just make sure that the end is pressed in. And then you're gonna have to little tail from the other side, which you're gonna go around as well, whichever way. And then just make sure the 2 ends are pressed in so that nobody gets stabbed in the head. And there we have our form.
Form, which is going to be what, 22 inches around? We want it to be
It's about 22 inches.
22 inches.
But if you're using this, you're good anyway.
22 inches. All right.
Okay, now we're going to put that aside.
Also, take one of these. You're working on the wreath. Let's have a look at that close up. This is what we're making. The wreath has 33 leaves in it. So count out 33, and they're going to be spaced in such a way that all 33 should fit. If you go to 34, no big deal. If you go to 32, no big deal. If you're hitting 36, 37, 38, then that becomes a big deal. So that means you're just going too close together. So
We are going to take some wire. I do like, it's about 5 feet, I guess, because I just pull it all the way across and I snip it on the end. And use whatever you're using to hold it. This is just a piece of cardboard with 2 notches in it. And just wrap around.
it just makes it easier to control it as you're wrapping the leaves onto the form.
Okay. So we have our pile of 33 leaves here. And we're just going to take the end and wrap it around. I don't like to wrap it around where the other ones ended because it makes it very bulky. But we're just going to wrap there. Now it's on, and we just start with our leaves.
All right.
So you put your first one in, and you put the wire through the very top stem. And that goes around once. Now you go through the center piece, and that's 2 times. 1, 2, And then the bottom of the stem, underneath the bottom leaves, we go around 2 times as well. 1, 2, and then after that come up from underneath here, because that's going to set you up for your next.
All right, just show a close-up
leaf.
shot just of that. Okay, good. All right, so let's see a close-up of how you're placing that leaf.
So now the second one, you're going to, now this is up straight up. The next one is just going to slide right in. And it really won't go any further because your wire is stopping it from going too far up. And then you just do 1, and then 2 around the middle, keeping it nice and tight, and 2 around the bottom, and then from underneath.
Okay, do a close-up shot of how the space of that is. Hold it. Go ahead. So you're going to begin working your way around the form with your leaves, spacing them just so. Once around the tip, twice around the middle, and how many times around twice around the stem.
And if you pull up after you're twice around the bottom of the stem, if you pull up from behind here, it'll space the leaves for you.
Oh, that's a good tip.
Because it won't, this corner here,
We'll go right up against there. Oh,
it
perfect.
won't allow it to go any further. It looks like it will, but once you wrap it, it'll go right back.
Okay, good.
So there's 1, 2, 2, and up underneath.
All right, so do another one, and then I'll stop it. You can go another portion just to show. I don't have to record it all.
1, 2, 2, and up underneath.
So it's like 1 on the top, 1 in the middle, 2 at the stem.
No, 1, 2 in the middle. 2
Oh,
in the
sorry.
middle.
So 5 wraps all together.
Yes.
1 at the top, 2 in the middle, 2 at the stem.
That's what it will look like from underneath. Nice and neat.
All right. They're evenly spaced. And then flip it around just to show the wire work in that same exact area. Perfect. You can see it's 1 around the top, 2 around the middle, 2 at the stem.
1,
Okey-doke.
2, and 2.
So do 2 more wraps and then I'll stop it. Finish it, go around.
That's 2, and then 2 around the bottom. Looks good when they're very close together. You can see that. 1, 2, and 1, 2, up underneath. So if you come to where you are short on wire, because this is not going to get you that far, all you do is you wrap it around kind of loosely, not too tight together. Press your end down. Give it a little squeeze. And you get a new piece of wire. Okay, so we have just 6 leaves left, but we do not have enough wire. So we just wrap it around loosely. Just intermingle it with everything else. Make sure it's nice and flat. And then we're just going to get a new piece of wire that will get us through the rest of it. You can put it on here if it's too long. Okay, that's actually pretty long. And And you're gonna come in here fairly close. And just give it like 2 little wraps. Nothing crazy. 2. And then this tail, your first piece. Pull it up. Cut it very close. Press it down.
The main thing is that we don't want any tails hanging out to catch on hair. So we have to make sure the tails are nice and down and hidden up when working with the wire.
And then our wire is exactly the same place if we hadn't run out of wire in the first place. And you just continue with your leaves.
1 on the top, 2 in the middle, 2 at the stem.
2, 1, 2, and underneath.
Maybe next one explain why you jerk the wire like you do.
Oh, left to right?
Yeah.
When I'm kind of going a little faster, I go, instead of moving this whole thing around to get the wire in where it belongs, I kind of go like to the left to get it around. And then the same thing to get it in between the leaves easier. So then I go pull to the right now to make sure it's tight, and then to the left to get it through, to the right to make sure it's tight. And then the bottom, you don't have to do that. Looks like we might have a little too much space. So there's going to be extra room here. We're going to fold that under. Let me get there. So we're just going to do it from this way. Fold it over close to your original leaf. And then you're just going to figure out and push until the leaves have the right space. Then you have a loop here, kind of wiggles around. You see it goes back and forth like a Z. And then we're just going to flatten it down. So now it's not really a Z, it's just flat. And then just keep wrapping. Got a couple wraps there. So this piece is held down. Not really held up that well. There you go. Now across it. And keep going. I go down one more leaf. The same way. And so this is your first, this was your first leaf. So you're going one extra. And then I like to come back in underneath the stem of the very first leaf, like this. And just pull it in behind the first leaf of your second little branch. And just get in there and clip it. Make sure it is flat. And voila. Now we have the Daphne headband. Same as the Daphne wreath, but a headband. So
How many leaves are on that?
there are 19 leaves in total. They're 18 full, and then your last one is actually cut into 2 pieces. You can set that up if you'd like. So you would be cutting just above your bottom 2 branches. Might have to bend it a little. Now you have this piece. And then you have a trio of leaves, and you're just going to cut off that extra piece there. So now you have these 2 pieces. Those are going to be your end pieces. We'll put those over there. So now we're going to wrap the wire around our handy dandy cardboard. Kind of the same, a little shorter, maybe 3.5 or 4 feet. So we're starting on this end, and we're just going to take a whole leaf.
About how many inches would you say that is? That's
From the
about
end,
an inch and a half.
yep,
The tip of that leaf is
about 1.5 inches. And once you get it on, you can play with it a little. You're going to wrap this around first. And your tail, you're going to want on the top of the headband, on the outside, away from the head. And it doesn't have to be anything crazy. When you get around, it'll hold it tight. So you're going to start your first leaf. Just go 1 around the top, 2 around the middle, and 2 around the bottom. Now this is your chance to just snip this little tail. Make sure it is at the right length, and you can slide it a little. And then you just keep adding them the same way. 18 of them.
So describe again how you place the first leaf up against your stem so that it kind of hits up
Okay.
against your wire.
So when you come around this, after the second wrap on the last part of your branch, you come up from behind here, and that'll place you for your next leaf. If you push it up, once you put this through and pull it down, it's going to space it for you.
Pull it down and away
And
keep you in place.
then they pretty much stay the same distance apart when you do that. Okay. Come up from behind. Place this part on there, and then go 1. And you get your space, and then you go twice around. 2 more times around and up. To make sure it's tight, if you just go to the left to get it through, when you pull to the right, left to get it through, pull to the right, and it makes it tight. And you just keep going around with all your full leaves. So now we just have 1 more full leaf. This is your 18th leaf. Wrap it in nice and tight. And now we're here with the ones we cut in the beginning. So we're going to use this piece first. And it's going to point the opposite direction. So we're just going to lay it in the same way, but backwards. And this you're just going to wrap around until you feel it's secure. A couple of times, and then you can go in the middle of this X and in the middle from here, just until you feel it doesn't move too much. Now this piece is just going to lay in. You see here's the tail end of it and the 2 leaves. So we're just going to lay it in just to disguise.
Sideways.
And again, you're just going to wrap it any which way to get it secure, like an X. Go around both sides of the stem. And go back under. And this is also going to reinforce that trio that you put on beforehand. And then when you feel it's pretty secure, come in the back, and you gotta find a place for it to fit. You can find a little loop somewhere for it to go through. And if you can't find one, you can make one. You're just going to pull until it's tight. Bring your end somewhere around towards the front so that when you clip it, it is not on the inside, it's on the outside. You can see all of that wrapping to secure the two halves of the leaf. And that's it.